Tonight on ESPN Radio. Some of the biggest bats in all of baseball head to Dodger Stadium for the 2022 Home Run Derby.
Wow, he crushed it. Good!
It's going to be an incredible field.
Back!
Pete Alonso has mastered this event.
Good!
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The WHB 100-year celebration is coming Thursday, August 11th to the Midland Theater. Scheduled to appear Matt Beasler, Dustin Colquitt, Bill Self, Willie Wilson, Trent Green, Graham Zusi, Bill Moss, Gary Pinkel, and Nicky Lopez. And we'll announce more every day. Listen for your chance to attend the celebration for free. Proceeds go to Big Brothers Big Sisters in partnership with the Chiefs Alumni Association, the Victory Project, ALS Association of Kansas City, and Sharewave. There are sponsorships available by calling 913-344-1529.
Looking for a great local getaway? The Elms Hotel and Spa is an iconic destination hotel and the perfect spot to spoil that special someone. The Elms Hotel and Spa has just completed a multi-million-dollar expansive renovation and is the place to see and be seen. They have new cabanas for the summer, which you can rent by going online. Also, their new 3 Owls restaurant with new menus for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Online at theelmshotelandspa.com or call 816-630-5500. Located in Excelsior Springs at 401 Regent Street. The Elms Hotel and Spa, a destination hotel.
Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'm Scott Traylor, my partner Kirk Elliott. We are the Racing Boys. Producer Todd Surprise, Austin O'Neill helping us here at the Racing Boys HQ studio. Blake back at Sports Radio 810 running the dials back there for us. Are you a little tired this morning, Kirk?
A little, but
just a little.
You know, we'll make it. It's all good.
What time did you get back from US 36 last night?
I got to bed not too bad last night, 12:30.
Oh,
it was good.
It's about the time I was. Yeah. That was about the time I was getting out of the hot tub.
I got no complaints.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been. We've had it worse than that on a Friday night.
Yeah.
So, no, it was all good.
So, not bad action up there at US 36 last night. It was a little rough, a little rugged. Some cars got upside down. Blake Hahn. Now, I didn't know if you knew this, Kirk, but did you hear that Wayne Johnson left?
He loaded up and headed out.
And do you know why? Because the moment he got in his car and he put his straps on and tried to cinch himself down, he knew that his back wasn't in good enough condition to race.
I didn't realize he got hurt that much after that wreck at Waikini.
He pulled out on the track, and it was too much for him, and he said he couldn't do it.
Golly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was a bad wreck at Waikini, but I didn't realize the injuries that he sustained from that.
Did you hear about that, Austin?
Yeah, and I was doing something for the feature, and I saw Wayne's stuff was loaded up, and I just figured he didn't want to, run on the rough track and take a chance of tearing his stuff up like, well, a lot of us. But I forgot that he blew some disc out at Waikini, and then
right.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that is not the place to go and run with the back injury.
A lot of G's.
Well, I mean, it was Baja 500 rough, and
well, that too.
We crashed 5 cars, and even if you weren't crashing, you're monster trucking it through the hole. So
yeah,
definitely not. I mean, I walked out of there with a headache from hot laps. So,
well, let me just say that the worst part of it, I thought, was down in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah,
I think it was the worst part of the racetrack last night. And what was surprising to me, just so you know, and I think John Bowler has done a great job with that racetrack up there since he's taken over with it. But for whatever reason, that swell was back as you entered turn 1, and then it was really rough over there in 3 and 4. And that's what bit Blake Hahn on the first lap of the A-Main. He got into that stuff. It got him upside down. He ended up down in the weeds.
Boy, he took a wild ride.
That was a pretty wild ride, and it junked out his frame. So not good for him. And then there was a few other cars that had some problems as well. Our leader had a problem last night too, Kirk.
Gunnar Ramey, who won the race?
Brandon Anderson.
Who are you talking
Brandon
about?
Anderson.
Oh, Brandon Anderson,
the
yeah.
55B car.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looked like he was going to win that race.
I thought he was going to win. Did you think he was going to win last night?
I think it depends on how the rest of the race runs out. Brandon Anderson looked like he was definitely the one to win it. If he does have that, misfortune into one, and they don't have a situation with the red lights coming on and off, maybe Matt Covington wins it.
So is that when the red came on? Is when they thought the 55B flipped, right?
The flagman assumed. I don't want to say he assumed. The flagman doesn't know what he did, from what we've been told.
Yeah.
So Brandon Anderson got in the wall, getting into one, and kind of pirouetted it across the track.
Right.
And I was in the infield.
I was looking right at him. He never did get upside.
No,
you saw the red light come on, right, Austin?
Yeah, me, my crew guy next to me, and there was a handful of people in the infield. I don't know if they saw it too. I didn't ask anybody else down there. But we were looking right. I was probably 25 feet from the light, and we saw the light come on for probably 3 seconds, and he knocked it back off, and yellow lights came on. So, the flagman, they asked him if he turned the red lights on, and he's like, well, I might have done it on accident, but you just don't turn it off by accident.
So that's why Matt Covington was penalized, because he stopped on the track because of the red light, right?
So, yeah, Matt Covington and Miles Paulus both rolled to a stop off of 2. Covington was the first car
to stop and complain.
Well, no, he was the first one, but he wasn't but 2 or 3 4 cars behind Brandon Anderson. So he was right on top of the wreck and on top of the lights, and same with Miles. So they, the red lights came on, and it's been beaten to our heads by officials for years. The moment the red lights come on, you are to stop.
Right.
And to have them turned off, and expect us to keep going and send them to the tail was, it's just a bad call.
It's just a bad call. They should have been able to get their places back.
Now, let me ask you this. Are they is the flagman, does he do that on his own, or is he directed to turn the light on?
They have receivers, and they can hear the officials in their ear.
No, I'm talking about the flagman.
Well, so
when he turns the light on, is he directed to do that, or can he do it on his own?
He can do it on his own.
Yeah, he can do it on his own. I'm not sure if Terry saw, Brandon get in the wall and not
thought
flip and said,
thought he got upside down
and said throw the yellow. And when that guy went to turn the yellow light on, his hand slipped,
hit the red,
and hit the red one.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're asked, you got to have confidence, or just some dignity to own up to a mistake.
Right.
Just say, yeah, I think I hit it on accident, and that goes to the drivers and the teams that saw it.
Yeah.
So it's just a rule that needs to be in the rule book. It's no different than trying to avoid a wreck and having come to a stop. What do you expect us to do? Drive through the wreck? You don't want us to do that, right? We don't want to do that either. So
right.
Maybe that's a rule that needs to be added to the rule book of, all right, well, if you have to avoid a wreck, you're going to at least get your spot back.
Yeah, if you stall your car out.
Now, if you go out there and you pull your belts loose, or you don't have your receiver plugged in or whatever, and you roll to a stop,
they should fix it for you.
Well, no, and you require a second push off, no matter what it is, besides a safety issue on the car.
Right.
You deserve your spot back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you just go out there to roll to a stop, just for whatever, you're going to go to the tail.
Right.
So who all had to go to the back besides Matt Covington? He was the one notable.
Miles Paulus, the 98 car did.
But Matt, he was one of the fastest cars. So Matt goes from maybe having a shot at winning $4,000.
I think Matt had the fastest car.
Yeah, to finishing 9th and made $500, and don't even count out the points championship too.
Right. Did it pay $300 from 10th on back?
It paid $400 from 12th on back.
12th on back.
Boy, this was a big night for the point. You had Blake Hahn flipping upside down. Wayne Johnson loaded up and going.
Right.
Matt Covington had a chance to really make hay, and he was forced to go to the back.
The best thing that could have ever happened for Wayne Johnson is for Blake Hahn to flip on the first lap.
Yes.
Right? I don't know what the points are right now, but I'm sure they've tightened up a little bit. I'll take a look at it.
That was a monumental night in the points battle. No, I mean, I know it's early we got a lot of races to go in this series, but that was a pretty significant night when you talk in terms of the points leaders, and all of them having issues.
So Blake Hahn now has a 36-point lead over Jason Martin, who is a rookie this year, and Wayne Johnson is 42 points out, and Garrett Williamson. I'm going to tell you this last night. Nobody impressed me more than Garrett Williamson last night.
He was ripping the lip, wasn't he?
He was fearless. He got up at the top and was just ripping around the top of it, trying to miss that hole down there in 3, and he did it quite often. And let me tell you something. His nose wing was a little messed up as well. And he was making hay, man. He was really working the top. Maybe the most I've ever been impressed by Garrett Williamson last night, the way he was driving.
Well, he's been running fast. I mean,
listen, he's fast, but what I'm saying is, knowing the conditions of the racetrack last night, being cowboy up, he manned up and he just ran the top and ripped the lip all the way around.
He
that
was
place,
fearless,
man.
no doubt about
he
it.
Was.
And what a night for Gunnar Ramey, his first ever sprint car victory, and he holds off a hard-charging Corey Day there at the end of the race.
Yep.
Big night for Gunnar Ramey.
Yeah, it was. It was a good night for him. We're going to have him on here in a little bit too, right, Kurt?
Towards the end of the show, about 9:45, second hour, exclusively on Racing Boys. We'll talk with the first-time winner last night.
Yeah. Dave Tyson said, "Good morning, boys. Good racing at Valley last night. Just an outstanding Power Eye midget feature."
Man, that was tight. I was just got through watching the video of that, and Chase McDermott holding off. I mean, just right at the wire in that feature event last night at Valley Speedway. Good finish last night, and Chase McDermott coming up with the winning.
Well, how many cars did they have over there, Kurt?
Had 15 midgets and 22 non-wing sprint cars.
I'd say that's pretty good, don't you think? I mean, that's decent enough. The
But-
fans should be happy with that.
Yeah. By the way, that was Gavin Bushell that McDermott held off at the line last night in that feature, and Xavier Doney picking up the non-wing feature victory.
Right. Well, how about Eldora last night getting rained out?
Yeah, I was surprised. I know they had a rainstorm a couple of nights ahead of that. I mean, we've got drought conditions around here, no threat of rain here in this part of the world.
Right.
And Thursday night, or what night was that? Wednesday night, a surprise rainstorm came in and made the track very heavy. And here it is. They got another rain shower last night at the Kings Royal. So they're going to have 2 shows today. They're going to start racing about noon Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern, with hot laps. And the whole show got rained out. So they've got all the heats and C, B, Fast Dash, and A Main all yet to run from the night before the Kings Royal, when actually it's the afternoon before the Kings Royal.
Right.
And then the big $175,000 to win 39th edition of the Kings Royal tonight.
And you can watch that on Dirt Vision starting at 12 noon Central Time, right?
Right. So, big day at Eldora
I wonder how
Speedway.
that's going to affect tonight's race. That they're going to
Well,
put those daytime laps on the racetrack today during the day?
Yeah, but they'll totally rework that track. I don't think that's going to have an effect on tonight's races. They'll do a total rework. They'll get the show over with in plenty of time to get the track ready to go for tonight. I don't think it's going to have any effect on it.
I do. Austin, do you think that having a day show before tonight's $175,000 win race, you think it's going to have an effect on the racetrack today? A little bit. It has.
It might
to.
have a little bit, but if you remember last year's Kings Royal, they ran a day race in the day, or they ran the previous Kings Royal in the day, and they ran one at night.
Yeah.
And the one at night, I mean, the track looked like it had no laps on it during the day. So I mean, it might be, you may be a little worn when you get to it for hot laps, but I mean they're gonna rip it up and rework and do all that. It might not have a ton of moisture in it, as the night goes on. But Eldora is really not known for being a big moisture track. It's pretty well known for getting slick and
Right.
wide.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. Last year, Tyler Courtney won the daytime Kings Royal. Kyle Larson won the Kings Royal at night, and track at night was just fine.
Well, we'll just have to see how it goes today. Me personally, I think it's gonna. I'm gonna say it. Tonight's $175,000 race is gonna rubber up.
As long as it doesn't rain tonight or sometime during
I don't
the day,
like watching.
I
don't want to watch a rubber race. Though.
I don't think it'll be a rubber down racetrack. I really don't.
I do.
Maybe in the daytime. I'm not sure that
The daytime show, yeah, but at night, no. I think the track will be just fine.
Once the track takes rubber, man, it's hard to get it out.
But Eldora Speedway typically doesn't take a whole lot of rubber.
Well, I mean, all you have to do is open it up and restart over again.
Yeah, that's what they'll do.
Bring the tiller and the grader out, which, I mean, every weekly track that takes rubber around here does the same thing. And, if it wasn't for their track prep, it wouldn't do it in the feature. But, I mean, it might maybe late, but I don't see it being that big of an issue.
I don't expect Eldora to take rubber.
All right. Well, just remember I said it first.
We'll be watching.
Right.
I'm going out to Valley Speedway tonight. I'm going to check out some midgets and non-wing sprint car action.
Now, if you want to talk about some rubber,
right?
Talk about Valley Sprint Car race last night. 3 lanes of rubber. The rear tires off of the Wagner cars were down to complete slicks. They lost air within probably 5 minutes.
You got pictures of those tires?
Yeah, they're on I'll have to try and get them.
I'd like to see them.
Screen.
So
they got some video.
They
of
burned
that
up a
race.
bunch of tires last night at Valley Speedway.
I watched some of the highlights of that. That did take on a little rubber in that sprint car race. That closed out. That was the second feature of the night, by the way.
Right. Well, we've got. Listen, the tire issue isn't going away.
No,
it's not going away at all. And we're going to have to deal with it all summer long. And all we can hope for is that Hoosier gets caught up during the winter and can start letting these tires cure a little bit longer so they don't delaminate.
That's been the biggest issue is they've hustled these tires through production and they're not ready to go.
Well, my question is, so
right.
We've had plenty of races with ASCS get canceled for not having tires.
Yeah.
All kind of in the southern region.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have we had, an all right selection last night, but not very good. And they're getting ready to go run those cars for a speed week for what, seven races?
You're going to burn up some tires.
Is there enough tires to go run a speed week? I mean, that's a lot of racing, and there's some tracks of that schedule that I've known are known for being abrasive and rubber, and it's. I mean, if we're having to cancel races because we don't have any, I mean, I don't know how you expect to really do speed
How do you
week.
get through the whole speed week?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. That makes sense.
I mean, Tulsa, 81. I wouldn't be surprised if Batesville gets hard and slick because it's just. I mean, it's a wonderful street stock and modified track, but I mean, it's not suitable for early sprint car racing.
And Speed Week starts at Batesville Motor Speedway, doesn't it? Down in Batesville.
Arkansas.
I think that's the second night. Aren't they at Tulsa the night before that?
Oh yeah, they start at Tulsa. Yeah, Tulsa
and then
Speedway.
Batesville next
then
Friday
Batesville.
night. Yeah.
Batesville's where it all went down last year, wasn't it, Kurt?
Well,
that was
went down what?
That was the last day of of one employee that worked for us.
Boy, you still want to talk about that, don't you?
Well, so what? Get slapped upside the head and a chair thrown at you.
I've moved beyond that. I think you should too.
No, I don't mind talking about it.
Batesville's a great racetrack too, by the way.
So they go to Batesville, I-30, Caney Valley, 81 Speedway, Creek County, Salina High Banks. I think that's their final race, isn't it? Salina
They're
High
going to be
Banks.
at Lakeside Speedway on August the 2nd.
Yeah, and then they got the Tuesday show.
Yeah. So they got a lot of races coming up. So Wayne Johnson needs to get home, get rested up. get well. And I don't blame him for, loading up last night. When you take a look at the schedule ahead, he needs to get recuperated. Hopefully he can get back to some semblance of health here going after these. I hope it's not as serious as maybe some rest will help him. But that when you talk about back issues, I'm a little concerned about that.
That could take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the best to Wayne Johnson, and hopefully he can get back in the mix and go back after it here.
Kirk, Hudson O'Neal won down at Tri-City.
Second night in a row. He won at I-70 Speedway on Thursday night, and then last night he does it again, this time at Tri-City Speedway. Had 33 cars over there last night. Tim McCready coming in with a right behind him. So they'll go at it at the Diamond Nationals tonight down at Lucas Oil Speedway. The third of the 3-day weekend before next weekend at Houston Speedway on Tuesday night, and then 3 nights at the Silver Dollar Nationals at I-80 Speedway. So big week ahead for the late model crowd.
Hey, Austin, just so people know, you weren't going to take any chances with your car last night because you want to make sure you want to be up at I-80 on Wednesday, right? Is that what was going on last night?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, I went up there for hot laps and fired it off down the front stretch and went into one and smoked the hole. That's just notorious for that play, or it's notorious at that track. And I almost flipped it in hot laps. And yeah, I went into 3 and did the same thing the second lap. And we know the story about US 36 that the hole doesn't go away and it usually gets worse. And with the track being that heavy and fast, it didn't make sense to try and take a chance of tearing anything up. I mean, I got some big paying races coming up in the next week and a half, and it doesn't make sense to take a chance of tearing my stuff up at a race that I'm just attending. It's not a points race or anything special like that.
Right. It's more about financially. It's about taking care of your budget.
Well, that, and then you can't buy parts right now. They're expensive. Tires are expensive, and
right.
I mean the backlog and the back order on stuff is through the roof. And
you didn't wear your tires out last night.
No, and I mean I'm not gonna try and rush and throw a car together and 4 days ago race I-80 on Wednesday. Just doesn't make sense. And I've tore enough stuff up last year where I had to start from ground zero this year and build everything back up. And quite frankly, I don't want to do that again. So
that had to be a hard decision to make because you qualified among the top 5 race cars last night. You had a fast race car.
Where'd you qualify, Austin?
I was second in my group. I think probably third overall.
Right.
But I mean, I think if we did make the decision to not race, we would be, in the top 5 or contending for a win. The way the race kind of rolled out. I mean,
yeah. I bet you as you watched that race roll out, you were thinking, "Man, I wish I was up there right now."
Yes, and then I saw Blake crash.
Yeah.
Well,
I knew I was better off sitting where I was at.
Well, Blake made the decision to try to roll through those holes. If you don't,
well, there's 2. So into 3, there was 2 lanes around the holes, the very bottom and the very top.
Right.
So and same into 1. It just you hit it wrong one lap and that's all. Really.
But was Garrett Williamson putting on a show though?
No, he was.
I mean, and his nose wing had damage on it as well. Did you see that? He had some nose wing damage?
Yeah, I mean, Garrett's that track and that style of the race or the track it was last night.
Elbows up.
Garrett. I mean, Garrett's nobody's gonna mash the throttle harder than Garrett, and nobody's gonna drive harder than Garrett. I mean, the kid's just when it's right. I mean, you're not gonna beat him.
Yeah.
And he's better at just hanging it on the dash and not thinking sucking about anything.
When he first came out on the national tour, he wasn't that good.
He tore a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, but he's gotten better as time goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I thought Garrett Williamson was the fastest car on the track. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I mean, for quite a bit of that race, he was.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought he was going to run down Ramey. Didn't you think so?
Yeah, he just smoked the wall off of 2 one lap, and that was it.
That was it. He lost his distance. He was right on top of the leaders, and he had that problem down there in 1 and 2, about smoked the fence, and then it was all over at that point. But you know what? He started to run him down again. Did you see that? He started to come back to him.
Yeah, he just followed Corey Day
Right.
right up to the field.
Yeah.
Back to him.
Yeah.
Corey Day had some issues earlier in the evening, and he bounced back, started 17th, and finished second. He was hard charging there at the end.
All right. Well, we need to take a break right now, so we're going to do so. We'll come back. Let's talk a little bit about that late model race that we went out to and watched at I-70 Speedway. We'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in the local racing scene as well. It's Track Talk, and it's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. We'll be back with more with the Racing Boys, Todd Surprise, and Austin O'Neill in a moment. Stay tuned.
Track Talk. As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinion, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
Hi, Tyler Reed. ReedBuickGMC.com has over 200 Reed-certified pre-owned trucks, SUVs, and cars ready for delivery. The Carfax, up-to-date maintenance details, and market-based pricing are all at your fingertips. Photos, videos, and all the details you need to make a decision on your next vehicle. Visit ReedBuickGMC.com today or call now 800-291-9406 and shop with confidence. Reed Buick GMC is values driven.
Want to work for an organization with industry-leading benefits? UPS is hosting open hiring events on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our Lenexa facility. Part-time positions available in multiple locations with weekly bonuses, tuition assistance, career opportunities, and a variety of shift times available. Apply online at upsjobs.com. That's upsjobs.com. UPS is an equal opportunity employer. NHRA Camping World Drag Racing is the fastest, most explosive sport on earth, and the Menards NHRA Nationals presented by Pet Armor is heading back to Heartland Motorsports Park in Topeka August 12th through 14th. Feel the power, 11,000 horsepower, 300 miles per hour racing action. Get up close to the race pits and smell that nitro because every ticket is a pit pass. It's can't-miss entertainment and fun for the whole family. Kids 12 and under are free. Get tickets at NHRA.com.
Hi, it's Jim at Smoke and Fire announcing our movie
60
sale.
seconds.
We have exceptional deals all through the store, including demo fireplaces, demo grills, all at incredible prices. Starting now, get 20% off any Kamado Joe or Primo ceramic cooker. Get 15% off any built-in gas grill. Free covers on any Weber grill purchase. Think family, think friends, think Smoke and Fire.
If you've been dreaming of a new outdoor living area for your family to enjoy all year long, Summit Lawn and Landscape can help you design and build it. Paved and stone patios, outdoor kitchens, fire pits, outdoor fireplaces, landscape lighting, and retaining walls. Extend the comfort of your home outside with a new inviting and relaxing addition to your home. Sit by a fire, relax under the stars. Whatever you envision, Summit Lawn and Landscape can help. Call Summit Lawn and Landscape at 816-966-9434 or summitlawn.com.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, the power of sports. And we've been lucky to be here for over 22 years, Kirk Elliott and myself. Been very blessed to be with Sports Radio 810 WHB all these years. Can't thank Chad Boger enough for allowing us to do what we've done all these years, Kirk. Man, it's been a good time.
Yeah.
And you're getting ready to retire, aren't you, Kirk?
Yeah, I'm looking ahead to the NASCAR Cup Series weekend out at
I said
Kansas
you're getting
Speedway.
ready to retire, Kirk.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about that.
All right.
Listen to me.
Well,
I'm looking
you
forward
went right
to
into another race.
I'm looking forward to the Cup Series weekend in September, which will be my last go-around with you here. So I'm Going to go.
You're not going to be completely gone, though.
No, I'll still be around once in a while.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to completely disappear.
No, you're not going to just vanish like smoke in thin air.
Right.
Right. You're going to be around. You'll probably fill in for me a time or two when we do mostly motorsports.
Yeah. Yeah, I
want
to completely disappear.
Because I got to get out of this studio once in a while.
Right.
I'm in here 6 days a week now. Austin and I are in here 6 days a week.
I'll come in and fill in while you go on vacation or whatever. I'll do that.
Yeah, need to do that.
I'm just the regular routine of what we've known here for 22 years. That's in the September.
We'll probably make it more of sound bites and a best of mostly motorsports show on Saturdays. Probably.
But September 11th is the date to where I'm. We do the coverage out of Kansas Speedway and that weekend, and then I'm going to go watch Cyclone football the rest of the fall. So, but I'll still be around. I won't be that far away.
I don't think you're going to move that far away. It's too expensive to move right now.
Yeah, you're telling me.
How could if you get out of your deal, Kirk's got to. How long have you lived in that apartment complex, Kirk?
I've been there 32 years.
Kirk Elliott has lived in the same apartment complex for 32 years.
Long time. I love it.
You could have had a house paid off by now.
I know it, but I own.
You got houses.
I still own property.
So. Yeah. You're not worried.
It's all
about
good.
That.
Lifestyle choice.
All your properties, all your properties up in Iowa, though.
Right.
Kirk's not mowing grass or shoveling lawns when he's in town.
That's it.
And fixing his.
You
plumbing.
know what being a homeowner is, Todd.
Shoot,
you know what that's all about.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, ain't it, Scott?
I don't know, Kirk. Right?
Yeah. Well, Scott, we're living in your house, or we're in your home right now.
Right.
It's always a maintenance thing.
I don't live here, but
you have stayed here a time or two.
I spent a lot of time here.
Yeah. Hey, Kirk, I don't know if you know this, but Kirk's mom and dad's house, I'm not trying to get too personal here, Kirk, but your mom and dad's house up on your farm is just sitting there empty, isn't it?
Well, I think so. I don't think we're rented. I haven't talked to him up there. I don't know exactly what's going on.
I think what Kirk Elliott needs to do, he needs to keep his place out there in Independence, and he needs to buy some more furniture and furnish the house up there that's sitting on the farm. And that way you have two locations. You can stay in Kansas City, keep your cheap rent because they take pretty good care of you over there.
Yeah.
And then whenever you want to go up to Mount Air and hang out with the family, you just drive right up there and go to your other house.
There you go.
I think
you got it all laid out.
Does it sound like a good idea to you?
Sounds like a good plan to me. I just haven't made any decisions yet on what I'm doing here. So, but anyway, I know this. I'm going to be watching Cyclone football on Saturdays this fall.
Yeah.
After we get done with the Cup Series weekend in September.
Kirk, what did you think about the late model race out at I-70 Motorsports Park this week?
The heat races were pretty strung out, but the feature event turned out to be pretty good. Not so good for Brandon Shepard, who
blew up
coming down for the white flag. Good for Hudson O'Neal, though.
Two laps to go.
Fast racetrack.
B-Shep blows up.
Yeah. A lot of those guys were having issues with overheating because they were laying it on the hammer and not lifting, and it was hot out there.
Right.
And
I heard
most of those guys were having problems with the temperature gauge.
Right. I did hear Tim McCready say something about the cross members digging into the racetrack when they get off into the corners.
Wow.
But I will say this, Kurt, and you can disagree with me or agree with me, but I felt like the late models put on a better show than the sprint cars did out there. What do you think?
Probably so. Probably so.
Did you see any sprint car races?
I saw just the ASCS race out there
a
couple of weeks back. I mean, that wasn't a bad race.
No, it wasn't a bad race, but my point is that the track was wide when the late models ran on it. They ran in the second groove. For the most part, when we watch the sprint cars race, they come in a little wide into three because of the dog leg down the back straightaway, and then they would just clip the bottom getting off of turn 4. But we saw the late models go side by side all the way through the corners, through 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and they widened out the track, and I thought it was better racing because of it.
Yeah, I want to applaud Tommy Estes for going out there working that track.
Yeah.
They had plenty of time to do it because the MAV TV live broadcast didn't start till 9:30, so they ended up the heat races about 9 o'clock, so they had plenty of time to go out there and really
I thought
work
it was a hell of a race.
I thought Tommy did a good job out there of working the highs, widening it out, especially working the high side of the racetrack, and turned out to be a good racetrack for the A main.
What'd you think, Hudson O'Neal? He looked fast all night, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but Brandon Shepard, I thought, once he got out in front, and Jimmy Owens got the lead to start the race. And then once Shepard zoomed by him, he was checked out. There was nobody going to catch him. And but Hudson O'Neal was in a position where you got to be if the leader has problem, and he was able to take advantage of it and win the race. And those were the two guys that I didn't see up at Stewart earlier this week, Shepard and O'Neal, and they showed up, and they were running 1 and 2 up there.
Hey,
I don't know if there's anything to that or not, but
Kurt,
those are the two guys that didn't race at that XR race.
Let me ask you a question here. Could you tell the difference between the MLRA cars and the national touring guys that race all the time with the late models? I could see a big difference. Could you see it?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about another level.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you talk about Tim McCready and Hudson O'Neal and Jimmy Owens and, Brandon Shepard. These guys are at a new level. But, hey, don't sleep on somebody like Johnny Scott. And, he won a preliminary race down at the Show Me 100 and has run up front. So there's a couple of guys in that MLRA crowd that can compete at a high level.
The similarities are kind of similar to what you saw last night at Tri-City. Hudson O'Neal wins, Tim McCready second, Jimmy Owens third.
Yeah.
Was Jimmy Owens third?
Yes, last night.
No, I mean at I-70. Where was he at?
He ended up in was he third or fourth? I don't have those results up
here,
in
I'll
front of me
pull it
right
up.
now.
Yeah.
But he was the leader. He started on the pole at I-70, but he wasn't able to hold off Brandon Shepard.
Right.
So, but last night he ended up in third. I think he finished third or fourth on Thursday night. I don't have those results right.
So it's just a little bit different, Kurt. Hudson O'Neal won at I-70 Speedway, driving the 71 car. Jimmy Owens was second. Tim McCready was third. So they flipped those two spots right there.
There you go.
Yeah, Tim McCready was second down at Tri-City.
Yeah.
Jimmy Owens was third. So those two flip-flopped from what they ran at I-70 Speedway.
Now we'll see what happens at Lucas Oil Speedway tonight for the Diamond Nationals. And Hudson O'Neal won the Show Me 100 there a year ago. And Brandon Shepard, see if he can win his first race at Lucas Oil Speedway tonight, get his program back together. It didn't run quite as well last night. Of course, they had put a new engine in that car last night, and I'm sure they'll do some tuning on it and get ready to go for tonight.
Right.
Oh, by the way, we're going to be talking with Reed Millard coming up a little bit later in this hour. He's got a MLRA event at
Moberly.
Randolph County Raceway over in Moberly.
Yeah.
On Sunday night. We're going to head over there for that. He is the new owner of Randolph County Raceway, and it's a different kind of situation, a different business model.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting the community of Moberly involved in the running of that racetrack. Kevin Gundaker and his crew are going to be operating the track, and they're going to bring in a lot of the community, like the Eagles Club with concessions and a lot of other organizations. He'll talk about that coming up here later in the hour.
Well, we'll talk to Reed here in just a little bit. Next segment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to see Moberly, Randolph County Raceway. I just call it Moberly. When you travel out on the road, Kirk, that we don't call the tracks by name. We call them by what city they're in.
What town.
What town they're in. Yeah.
But I think that's a good decision to get the community involved at Moberly over there.
Yeah.
Make them have a stake in it. Because, that track has struggled over the years to get that town involved in what's going on and draw crowds. And by having the town of Moberly and the county had
Get
more of a
behind it.
stake in the success of this racetrack. I think that's a smart move that Reed Millard is making on this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a great little racetrack, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people like to race there. It's fast, high banked, small.
Yep.
Got a lot of banking in it. Eats up some tires.
Is that because was there still pavement underneath?
I'm not
the
sure if there's pavement underneath that racetrack or not.
I always love the way it's configured, though.
Yeah. You know I won the inaugural pavement race there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. When was that? 2000.
I might have been
Can
over there
you
to watch
believe
it.
that was 22 years ago?
Crazy.
It's mind-boggling that was 22 years ago that I won that first pavement race down there.
I'm trying to remember if I was there to see that. I was there when Clint Boyer ran your car over there.
And he ran second to Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the pavement?
Yeah.
I think it's better as a dirt track, though.
Oh, I agree. It wasn't much of a pavement track, to be honest with you. It was fun to have another pavement track back in those days because at the time, Lakeside was pavement. It went dirt just about the time that Moberly went pavement.
The other thing I like is the grandstand. You can't have better sight lines than what they have out of that grandstand at Moberly.
If you don't have a heart attack going up the steps.
It's steep.
Right.
But it's there's no better viewing sight lines for the fans than
it's a great view.
Or if you don't fall.
What's that, Austin?
Or if you don't fall through the rotted out wood boards.
Well,
one of the two.
Well, that could happen too.
That's how it used to be. I know it's probably been, refinished since Reed bought it. But I know last time I was there, probably 2 or 3 years ago, that it was.
We did
not OSHA approved.
We did a few paid per view events down there, didn't we, Kurt?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
But I like that racetrack.
Oh,
Where's
I do
that?
too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wish it was a little closer to Kansas City. Yeah. That's all. 2.5 hours down there.
Well, I'm going to drive down there tomorrow night. Check it out.
Are you?
I think so.
Wow. Where are you going tonight? You going to go to Valley?
Plan on going to Valley Speedway.
Right.
That means since Monday night, I will have only had one night away from the racetrack. I took Wednesday night off. But this is something different for me, Scott. I was at races Monday and Tuesday at Stewart, Thursday night at I-70. Last night we were all up at US 36.
Yeah.
Plan on going to Valley tonight and tomorrow night at Moberly. How about that run?
Well, I might go to Valley tonight, and I'm either going to go to Sweet Springs or I'm going to go to Moberly tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet Springs a little closer to home.
A little hour. 1 hour from my house.
They got the Power Eye Midgets and sprint cars.
That'd be a good
Sweet
show.
Springs.
That'd be a good show.
You don't often see non-wing sprint cars at Sweet Springs.
No. That'd be a good show. I've never seen them down there. Have you been there for a non-wing show?
Yeah. Was that last year or the year before?
It's pretty tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it works.
Yeah.
Last year they ran a 6-car King of the Hill exhibition race to get notes and to test for tomorrow night's true point-paying Power Eye race.
Well, I think they can do it. Look good to me.
I know I'll have to be watching it because I don't know. I mean, it's good for midgets, but I don't know how you're going to make it work for sprint cars. But
yeah. Our buddy Pete, he said Lance Deweese took his second Williams Grove 410 sprint car win of the season on Friday night, taking a $6,000 victory in the Randy Wolf tribute race. How about that?
We haven't seen Lance Deweese run all the races this year, it seems.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
But when he does, he's been pretty strong.
Yeah. I'm tired today, bud. Gosh, I'm tired. I don't know why I'm so tired.
Are you surprised Anthony Macri, he ran the historical big one the other night?
He didn't
really
look that
wasn't all
good.
that competitive.
No,
Is it because he lost his crew chief? They had Bernie Stugen helping out on that car last weekend when he won a pair of races at Williams Grove.
It really could
Lincoln.
be, Kirk. Yeah, it could be. But he thought he brought in a good ringer as a crew chief. Who did he bring in, Austin? Do you remember who?
Bernie Stugen won.
Is that who he brought in?
Yeah, Bernie's the crew chief now, but Bernie was supposed to be the crew chief on Buddy Kofoid's wing operation, and he hasn't been doing that the past couple weeks, and now he's moved over to Anthony Macri. So a little bit of, crew chief swap around going on.
Yeah.
Speaking of Buddy Kofoid, he was not the fast race car at Jefferson County Speedway last night. That was Mitchell Moles, who won his first USAC midget event last night after winning his first USAC sprint car race at Huset's last weekend. It was Mitchell Moles, the top guy at Jefferson County. That's where the USAC midgets are this weekend. And he ran first last night. Buddy Kofoid was fourth. Jerry Coons Jr. third, and Ryan Timms ended up second behind Mitchell Moles, the race winner last night. They'll do it again tonight.
I was talking to a guy up there last night at US 36, and he thinks Ryan Timms is going to be the next big deal.
Well, I would buy into that.
I think there's some truth to that. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Reed Millard is going to join us here. We're going to talk about his purchase of Moberly Speedway, Randolph County Raceway down in Moberly, Missouri. That's all next right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. We'll be right back.
Track Talk. Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
People have lots of reasons for trying medical cannabis for chronic pain, anxiety, and hosts of other ailments. And in Missouri,
Alrighty, boys, we're going to have to be out by 56.
Drive out of their way past multiple dispensaries to arrive at a special cannabis dispensary in Grandview, Relief Resources Dispensary. So why do so many patients come to Relief for relief? It starts with patient care. Our physician-trained patient care specialists bring so much more to your case than a typical dispensary bud tender. They're better able to match plant strains, terpene profiles, and lab results to your conditions. And with one of the largest product selections in the state, over 500 in stock, that best solution is always right there. Of course, medical decisions should not be based on advertising, and you should always consult a physician on the benefits and risks of particular medical marijuana products. Relief Resources Dispensary is open with extended hours, 7 days a week starting at 10 a.m. Relief Resources Dispensary on 71 Highway at 140th Street and online at reliefmo.com.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you have to drive 300 miles to your cousin's wedding. Okay, so it's his fourth. But you know what they say, fourth time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Tonight on ESPN Radio. Some of the biggest bats in all of baseball head to Dodger Stadium for the 2022 Home Run Derby.
Wow, he crushed it. Good.
It's going to be an incredible field.
Back.
Pete Alonso has mastered this event.
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
At Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Vehicles have shipped and are arriving daily. Reserve yours from their large list of in-transit models, like the 2022 GMC Sierra light and heavy-duty trucks, new Buick Enclaves with seating for 7, and GMC Terrains with 30 miles per gallon, all backed by the 90-day money-back guarantee. Visit robertbrogdon.com or find them at I-35 in Santa Fe. Customer must register vehicle. See dealer for details.
Add protection to your home with 11% off all siding at Menards. Get the warmth and beauty of wood with added durability with LP SmartSide engineered wood siding. It's pre-finished with Sherwin-Williams coatings, so there's no need to paint or stain. Right now, save 11% on all LP SmartSide pre-finished siding at Menards. Good through July 17th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, Tyler Reed. ReedBuickGMC.com has over 200 Reed certified pre-owned trucks, SUVs, and cars ready for delivery. The Carfax, up-to-date maintenance details, and market-based pricing are all at your fingertips. Photos, videos, and all the details you need to make a decision on your next vehicle. Visit ReedBuickGMC.com today or call now 800-291-9406 and shop with confidence. Reed Buick GMC is values driven.
Welcome back to Track Talk. I'm Scott Heaskirk. We're the Racing Boys. Blake back at Sports Radio 810 WHB, twisting the dials. We've got Austin O'Neill, Todd Surprise here, running everything at Racing Boys HQ. And we want to welcome to the show right now the new owner of Randolph County Raceway, Reed Millard. How you doing, Reed?
Hey, doing fine, guys.
Hey, well, this is big news for you. Now you've done so many things in racing, but now you're a track owner. Talk about the purchase of RCR.
Well, I've been racing up there for years, and last year we put together a fundraiser for one of our tow truck drivers who lost his life in a tow truck accident, and we wanted to raise some funds, so we put together Wiener Nationals last year. It was very successful, and we were able to help out his young widow who was 23 and his little daughter, too. And when the track came available this year, when it hadn't opened up, I approached the owners, and we worked it out, and we're the new track owners.
Wow. So what is the plans for the racetrack, Reed? Is it to run just specials only, or are you going to try to run a weekly show down there? Kind of give us a rundown of what your plans are for the racetrack.
What we're looking at, we've one of the big things we did, I bought the track, but we created what's going to be a not-for-profit, the America Motorsports Association, and that will run the track. And the idea is that through not-for-profit, we're able to help the community where the Eagles can do the beer stand, the 4-H can do the food stand, and we can create a system where businesses can use the tax right, take the donations that they put into it. Then what we're going to try to do is diversify our fan base by bringing in a lot of different people as fans, and diversify the business model a little bit from the old typical racing business model, and we'll use concert stage out, and hopefully every time we have a race we'll have a concert stage. Every time something happens out on the track that's going to take a while, we'll put something on stage that will help entertain the fans while we're prepping the track or resolving some other issue out on the track. And so that's what our business model is. Then we plan on doing maybe 8 to 10 two-day events throughout the year on racing, and then also try to put in a pro and pro truck and tractor pull, monster truck show, and maybe a big derby show and a couple concerts.
Right. Well, in today's world, when you purchase a facility like RCR, you've got to use it for multiple types of events, right? You just can't concentrate on dirt track racing alone, because that's not going to cut the mustard. Doing these other things like monster trucks, tractor pulls, demolition derbies, those are important. Concerts as well. Those are pretty important to the facility as well, aren't they?
Well, I think when you got a bigger facility like these big half miles, it's really hard to have weekly racing out there, because one weekend you may have 22 B modifieds, and next weekend you got 15, and they'll say, hey, where's everybody else at? And they said, well, their engines are blown up and so forth. So which we decided to do a different business model. We think it'll be successful, and it also involves the community because we are not-for-profit based, and we can utilize the other local civic and charity organizations to help support the track and help to support their own charitable foundations that they have or civic things that they're trying to do.
Hey, Reed, this Kirk. I think this is a smart move, and I do too. You're very familiar with Moberly and the history of this racetrack, and having the community have an actual stake in this racetrack, I think, is a smart way to go when you know the history of everything that's gone on in the past with Moberly and the racetrack.
Yeah, I think a lot of racetracks. It's really I know some that have had already 12 racing nights scheduled this year, and you got all the rainouts and so forth. So it makes it awful hard to have an individual to make money at it. But when you share in the love of the track through local civic organizations and other organizations, everybody can come together for a cause.
Hey,
we're able to. Let me just say this real quick. Everything that we do each 2-day event will tie a charity to it to help support something in the area.
One of the questions I always get, and the first thing they say to me, and I won the inaugural modified pavement race down there in 2000 when Jack Johnson owned the racetrack, is the pavement still under the dirt?
My understanding is that the pavement's out of there, but that's just my understanding. I'm not for sure on that.
Yeah. And you got Kevin Gundaker. I think this is another smart move on your part. Kevin Gundaker's coming in to run these races, right?
Well, I'm a good businessman, but I don't know how to, do dirt. So
yeah.
And I thought, getting Kevin Gundaker, Ed Kosicki, people that have
knowledge,
a lot of knowledge, experience at preparing the track, and it was really interesting. One guy comes up to me the other night, and they said, "Who's that out there doing the track, packing it in and working it?" And I said, "That's Kevin Gundaker and Ed Kosicki." He says, "You got 2 Hall of Famers doing that?" And I said, "Hey, we got to get all the knowledge we can, because as you hear on some of these other tours, the Hell Tour and stuff like that, some of these little or tracks are opening up and they're not prepared right. We don't want to be that way. We want it to where the drivers never have to really come out to pack the track in."
And just real quick, tomorrow night, got a few seconds. Big night tomorrow night.
Yeah, big Wiener Nationals. We'll have super late models. It's a 10,000 win show, $750 to start.
Yeah.
And a V mod, $2,500 to win, $200 to start.
All right. Kirk and I will be down there tomorrow night, and we can't wait to see it. It's a great venue to go to. Reed, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here on Track Talk. Good luck in the future, and if you need anything from us, just let us know, okay?
Okay. Hope to see everybody down here. We're going to really entertain you guys.
All right. Thank you, Reed.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. There you have it, Reed Millard.
Great guy, a racer himself, too.
Right. Hour number 2 coming up here in just a second. Just follow us over on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or racingboys.com. Hour number 2 exclusively on those platforms.
10.
We hope that you'll join us. For Blake, for Austin, for Todd, for Kirk, I'm Scott Traylor. We'll see you right around the corner, hour number 2, right on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network.
Want to work for an organization with industry-leading
Good job,
benefits?
boys.
UPS is hosting open
Thanks, my
hiring
friend.
events
Have a
on
good week.
Tuesdays from 10
Yeah, you guys
to
have a great
2 p.m.
weekend.
At
Enjoy.
our Nexa
You too.
facility. Part-time positions available in multiple.
Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
At Lucas Oil, we take pride in creating problem-solving products to make your car care easier. We protect your vehicle and make it run longer so you can focus on the things that matter most. Whether it's commuting to work, visiting a loved one, taking the kids where they need to go, going to the big game, or anywhere life takes you, Lucas Oil is committed to getting you there for all of life's important moments. Lucas Oil, it works.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that to build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
Cigarport.ca is your go-to online store for exclusive cigars produced from the best quality tobacco in the world.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Missouri's must play getaway. Osage National Golf Resort.
3 9-hole courses to choose from at the Lake of the Ozarks in the Osage River Valley. Stay and play packages in our first-class condos. A beautiful clubhouse complete with pro shop and exercise facilities. A large pool for relaxation and families. The Eagle View Sports Bar and Grill. Great wedding facilities. Go online and make your tee time today.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and if you're not listening to the Racing Boys, then you've got some sort of head problems. You gotta listen to the Racing Boys. Get her done!
Welcome to Hour 2 of Track Talk on the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. Here again are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
It's 9 a.m. It's not 8 a.m. anymore. That is a damn good Shinedown song right there. Todd, who do you think is the best rock and roll singer going right now? He would have to be one of them, wouldn't he? What's his name?
I can't remember his name. He's got a strong voice.
Well, he is solid, isn't he?
Well, his voice, I think, is if his voice wasn't as strong as it was, I don't think the band would probably still be
right together
where they're at.
Right,
you know, because
he's the base of that band,
and that voice is pretty distinct. You know, yeah.
But you know, me personally,
I know you're a rival. Son,
I'm a Jay Buchanan guy, man. That guy. Listen, you've heard other people say that. Who's the guy on 98.9, the producer over there? What's his name?
Greg.
He thinks he's the best singer, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he's got the pipes, man, and like there's a lot of new good bands out there right now.
Dirty Honey.
Oh
man, that guy's really good.
They're playing with Kiss right now. So how about that?
Dirty Honey is?
Yeah, they just opened for Kiss this last week. So
that would be a tough act for Kiss to follow. To be
that's
honest
what I'm
with you.
saying. You know, that's what you want, I guess, as an opening act to make sure you're on your toes. Still,
You know
right?
what? You know what bugs me is I'd like to go see Rival Sons up in Omaha. They're going to be playing up here this month. You know. But they're opening for Greta Van Fleet.
Yep, it's just the tour.
First of all, let me just say this. Rival Sons is 5 times better than Greta Van Fleet. When it comes to musicians, the guys that are playing the instruments and the singer, they're not even close to Rival Sons. How can Greta Van Fleet open for Rival Sons? I mean, how can Rival Sons open for Greta Van Fleet? I don't get it.
Album sales.
I just don't get it.
They've sold some albums. That old Greta got him a couple commercials.
Well,
too.
Hold on. 2 bands that have been known to rip off Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah. Well, and let's not go too far. Led Zeppelin pretty much stole everything.
Well, Led Zeppelin stole from a lot of blues players.
There's more lawsuits filed against Led Zeppelin than any other band.
You know that's kind of funny because when you talk about that a little bit, right? Led Zeppelin has never sued anybody for ripping them off, like Dred Zeppelin.
Yeah, Dred Zeppelin.
Dred
Kingdom
Zeppelin.
Come,
They ripped them off totally, right? It's a
Elvis,
kind of a.
It's an Elvis.
Torque Elvis is the lead singer, and it's with a reggae band,
and they play Zeppelin.
And they
music.
play Led Zeppelin.
It's great.
It's some pretty nutty stuff, to be honest with you.
I had no idea. My cousin said, "Hey, you know what my new favorite is Dred Zeppelin." I was like,
He said that?
Yeah, and I said I had no way.
I had no idea.
Would have picked you to pick that. So.
Who would make Dred Zeppelin their favorite
It's just
band?
Good stuff. I guess, like you said, you get into them, and that's
You
your.
ever heard of Dred Zeppelin, Kurt?
I've heard of Led Zeppelin, but no, I'm not.
You've never heard of Dred Zeppelin?
We'll pull some video
maybe we need to get Todd to pull up some
Now,
video.
what kind of a venue is this Greta Van Fleet and Rival Sons concert? Is it a big arena concert?
No.
What is that?
They play
Mid-size.
They play small clubs.
Small and mid clubs. Uptown.
Kind of like the Truman.
Uptown.
Uptown Theater, Midland Theater.
2,000 to 5,000.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what they play.
Now, would these groups play the same amount of time, or
Yeah, they're both.
Well, here's my problem. I want to go up there and I want to go see Rival Sons, but my thinking is if they open up, they're only going to play about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think they're both.
It's not worth my travel.
Well, you'd be okay with that if they played a full show and then Greta Van Fleet
If they played a full
show.
show and then Greta Van
You'd be okay
Fleet.
with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of concerts going on up in Iowa and Illinois and Nebraska that
It's
we're
like
not getting
they're-
down
It's
here.
like they're missing Kansas City.
Tesla's got a new album out. They're touring. There's just a bunch of bands that are just being overlooked with Kansas City. So I know we
Why
have
is that?
We have a new promoter in town that's kind of not geared towards our kind of music.
You know, back in the day, Chris Fritz was the
Yeah,
guy.
it's Mammoth is what the company is.
Mammoth.
Uh huh.
2 weeks from tonight, I'm going to be at Arrowhead Stadium.
I bet.
Who are you going to see?
George Strait, Chris Stapleton's going
Place
to be
is going to
there.
be packed. It was packed the other day.
How much
with-
was that ticket, Kirk?
I don't know yet. Haven't got it.
Well, if you're going,
That's not going to be a cheap ticket.
No.
That's about $175 ticket.
if you're going to the Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard, Joan Jett concert,
Out at Starlight, right?
no, it's at Royal Stadium, the Kaufman.
Oh, it is.
It's going to be hot. It's gonna
What's
be
the
about
day? What's the day of that?
Monday or Tuesday.
Hey, there's going to be some,
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be some of those popping out.
Yeah, well,
I've
maybe
never seen a
flopping.
concert at Kaufman Stadium.
You know that's going to happen.
Have you
have
guys
you-
seen a concert at Kaufman
You
Stadium?
get,
I've never-
hey, you get up close to
haven't.
the stage. There's going to be some bikini tops coming off.
Are they going to be worth being there, watching those?
Well,
Bikini
it'd
tops?
be worth it for me.
Yeah, I don't know. Depends on the age of the girls that are there. These were talking about some age.
Oh, that's true. I might be. I might feel like
you might
it.
be thinking about when you were younger
might-
watching these shows.
Listen, you never know. Those bands are old bands.
They bring some young kids.
They could
huh?
bring in some old women, and they could show this.
And then maybe they bring their young friends. I just know it's going to be hot. So if you guys are going out there, make sure you start hydrating well in before.
At
Don't start-
Arrowhead?
At Kaufman Stadium. Look, it's going to be 100
it's
some.
Kaufman.
Yeah, it's going to be 100 and some degrees out there. It's an all day show. Starts during the day, afternoon, and goes
I'd
all
be
through
up
the evening.
underneath the
Yes,
shade tree.
most definitely.
Right.
And these are station seats. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, like I said, back at it. I was up there by a couple racetracks. I was up there in Nebraska and St. Louis this last 2 weeks. So drove by the big Gateway.
Right.
And drove by where they just had the other, and then what was it, I-80 Speedway?
One of my worst memories of Gateway is when JJ and I took JJ down there to race. Do you remember that, Kurt? Took him down there to race at Gateway. We had a good sponsor on board, and we did something we shouldn't have done. We put a little extra air in the tires for him to go out and qualify, and JJ spun out in qualifying. We didn't make the show.
Oh.
It cost me about $20,000 to go down there and not make
Oh.
the show.
That's a one heck of a spiel.
That was a
Back in your big money ARCA days.
Oh my gosh. No more money put on the line than in those ARCA cars.
So
let me
you
tell
drove by I-80 Speedway, huh, Todd? Up in Nebraska?
Yes, I did. Actually, we had
Greenwood, Nebraska.
Yeah, we had a lot of trips back and forth. Some of the games were in Lincoln, some of them were in Omaha, some of them were in another town. So
did you show Zach where that racetrack was?
yeah, I pointed out and said, "Hey, there's the sign. This is where you go."
Right,
and then
right.
same way when we were crossing over into Illinois over there, there's a couple little tracks right there on the backs on that highway back there too. So
Next week, big week. I'm going to be up there next Saturday
that's
night.
right.
The Silver Dollar Nationals. So it could be the last one. It looks like the last
I
one.
might go up there Wednesday night just to watch Austin race.
Yep.
Can you cover for me on Thursday if I needed you to?
Yeah, we can make it work.
I'll be here.
Wednesday, we're very busy. So
what's Wednesday?
Well, we got a big announcement that's going to be made out at Kansas Speedway, and
We know
I
what-
can't say what that is, but stay tuned.
We don't know what it is.
It's at the casino, so it has something to do with that. It has something to do with gambling and the casino. I can tell you that much.
I think I might let you and Todd handle that. What time is
Well,
that?
Todd's going to be here helping you run the show on Wednesday because Austin is going to be on the road up at I-80 going
Austin,
racing.
I think when I get off the air, I'm headed your way. Go up there and watch you race. I want to see you get another top 5 run up there. Can you do it for me, Austin? Huh? Can you get that done for me? Can you pull it off if I go up there? I don't want to jinx you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I survived last night, so.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
that
looks like
wasn't
I'll
very
have
hard.
a shot.
That was pretty easy. putter around and pull off.
I feel like a starting park cup team.
Did you feel funny about doing that?
Yeah, we go to the races to win. We go to win. We don't go to start and park like a NASCAR Cup team. But
right.
I guess certain situations you have to.
We saw cars tore up last night.
You hope to never do that again, right, Austin?
Well, we just know where we're going to race at.
Right. That's where you want to race at. You want to race up there at I-80 because that's where you've had your best runs at, right?
No, I mean that's what's more important than the national tour race.
Right.
We spent a lot of time getting ready for this race, and I'm not going to go out there and throw it all away.
Yeah. Well, you don't listen. I don't think people realize you're a small team. You can't afford to junk out a race car because if you do, you're out of business for a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, quite a while.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I got plenty of spares and all that, but
it would take you some time to get another car together.
It would. You know, I went through almost, I mean, in total parts last year, 3 complete cars. It felt like, and I built everything up from pretty much zero to where I'm at now with almost 3 of everything and 1 complete car and all that. So I do not want to go down that road again. It's not fun, and I spent a lot of money this winter when I probably shouldn't have, and just think of all the money I could have spent on tires.
Yeah,
that wasn't buying parts.
That good old Mostly Motorsports sticker looks pretty good on your car. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
You watched those guys get upside down last night. You've been there, done that up there, haven't you?
That was your worst wreck up there, wasn't it?
I mean,
surely it was because you got some concussion syndrome out of it, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I had one at the lake last year too.
You did?
Yeah, but I mean, they don't get easier.
You got to keep track of those concussions, buddy. Just saying, we don't want nothing to happen to your noodle. You know, that noodle up there in between your ears is very important. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I kind of need that noodle on this show.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you got to help me out and get me through the show.
You know, I went down to talk with Blake Hahn after his wreck last night. I said, "You doing all right?" He said, "Yeah, I'm fine." You know, but that was a heck of a ride he took last night.
He told me, I talked to Blake last night after the wreck. I went down there and spoke to him, and he told me that he felt like when he made a hot lap through there that he could roll through that rut right down there in 3 and 4, and he said that he wished he wouldn't have done it now.
It was on the first lap, too, wasn't
it? It tore up the frame on that car. Did you see the frame on that car, Austin? Yeah.
So you're going to have to get a new car.
Got Ryan.
Hey, that was a pretty nasty flip.
It's a good thing they don't have a race tonight.
Right.
They were supposed to have a race tonight scheduled, so now he's got a little bit of time to get ready to go for Speed Week coming up.
All right, you guys put the phone number up if you want. All right, Ryan's calling in on the show. Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
I'm trying to stay out of the heat for right now, but that's not going to last for very much longer after this. I got too much yard work I got to get done before next weekend.
You know, I never sweat when I mow my grass. You know why?
You don't mow it, right?
I don't mow my grass.
Well, I called that one, didn't I?
Right. You know, I'm lucky enough that I've got Knoll's Lawn Care. You remember little Ed Knoll?
Yeah.
Do you remember him? You remember his dad, Ed Knoll? Ed Knoll raced at Riverside back in the early 80s and through the 80s. And then his son, little Ed Knoll, started racing. Oh, I would say, if I remember right, he started racing about 88, 89, somewhere in there. And he was a pretty good little racer. Pretty good race car driver. And now he's in the lawn care business. He races still a little bit. He's got a modified, a B-mod. But what I hear is that his son has a stock car, and they're going to be getting that stock car out. I believe John O'Neill Jr. helped him put this car together. And so you're going to see the third-generation Knoll driver out on the racetrack before you know it. So just so you know a little history about the Ed Knoll family, just so you know.
Well, my yard work is getting a building or I guess it's building a wall because I have a city easement, water easement in my backyard, and my backyard slopes down to it. So I have concrete blocks I've got to get a form set up for, and then I got to backfill up to that wall, and yeah. Mine's not as easy as just cutting, but I'm stoked for I-80 next weekend.
Yeah, you're going to help us out up there. You're going to provide us some sound for next Saturday's show, right?
You have to. I have to. It's
I
like
appreciate that.
It's like a law.
Thanks and you've done it for a lot of years now up there. So the only thing different this time, Ryan, is I'm not sure, Scott, are you going to try to get up there for that? But I'm going to join you on Saturday night for the finale up there. That'll be different for you.
You have to enjoy I-80 at least once if this is going to be the last one. And I'll tell you what made it interesting was watching I-70 and watching Shepard lose his motor and a bunch of other guys having overheating problem. There was a couple of years ago, the heat there was pretty stout. Index was over 100, and I just got done looking at the forecast for Omaha next weekend, and it's supposed to be 97, 98, Friday, Saturday, so that heat index is going to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I would say that's an even more hammer down track than I-70 is. And they're going on a pretty solid stretch after hitting Wheatland tonight, and guys have a short turnaround trying to get all their stuff together before they go up to Houston and then back down to I-80.
I might disagree with you a little bit on that one, Ryan, because I've been up to I-80 many times, and I've never, ever once heard anybody complain about their motors overheating because they're running wide open up there.
No, and I totally agree. I haven't either. I just find it interesting that I-70, they were having motor problems, and I haven't heard it at I-80. But if that heat's going out there, I don't know if there's something different going on with the motors or what.
No, I think that listen, I-70 is a very unique beast. Those guys were talking about their cross members digging into the track because they were running into the corners so fast. They were having to hold the cars wide open all the way around the racetrack, and they were overheating. The thing about I-80 is that the corners, the straightaways are real long, right? And in the corners, they're kind of tight. So those guys have to get out of the gas a little bit. Maybe not the sprint cars so much, but the stock cars and the late models, they got to get out of the gas when they get in the corners up there at I-80.
Yeah,
I think.
the late models, I call it kind of doing that little burp when they get off the gas and hit the brake just enough to
set the car.
Pitch it.
Yeah.
And it'll slick off a little bit too, won't it?
Well, hopefully it will. Hopefully it'll slick off a little bit.
Well, last year was interesting because they had modifieds with them, and Steve Kosiski doing the water, and I've had a chance to talk with him while he was doing it, and had a great interview with him a few years ago. And it was interesting to watch the track because there wasn't a whole lot of passing, but it was fast.
Right.
And you just sat there and you watch a track, and even during the modified A, it just didn't quite seem to be where you thought it would be. And I mean, by the time they got done with the A mods feature, man, that track was perfect for the late models. And I believe last year was the big 100 lap race, if I remember right. And that track came around, and Steve Kosiski did an absolute fantastic job on getting that. And if I remember right, we figured last year that he'd put anywhere from 250 to 300,000 gallons of water on that track from Thursday to Saturday.
I'm wondering, are they going to do the same amount of track prep, with the price of fuel and diesel the way it is right now? It seems like that we see a lot of racetracks, they wait till the last second to start watering the track, because they don't want to spend the money on the fuel.
I don't think you'll see the Kosiski sacrifice anything, track prep, anything of what they've done in the past.
Right.
I don't believe it.
The one thing that I've learned about Steve and Joe is that They are
they're perfectionists.
They're perfectionists, and they have the reputation of being the racer and doing what the racer needs, and they're not going to shortchange it. And they are proud of the product that they put out there. And if anyone saw the broadcast last year that was on MAV TV, if anyone saw that, they did an interview with Steve and Joe and their wives and with Dave Algebright on there.
Right.
And you could just see how proud they were with what they have. And I've talked to Joe after the feature each time I've been up there. The smile on his face and seeing everything going on, it just makes it so much worthwhile to him, and he's so proud of what his gang does.
Well, another thing that he's looking forward to is retiring.
He needs to. It's time.
Yeah.
When I talk to him, he goes, I've sat here every Saturday from, like April to August or September, whatever. He goes, I need a vacation. He goes, me and my wife just really don't get to go anywhere, and the one place we want to go to is we want to go to Alaska, and we just want to relax and enjoy.
Right. Yeah. No doubt.
He deserves it.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, Ryan. Well, we appreciate your call, buddy. Appreciate it. Anytime that you want to call, just give us a ring.
Yep,
okay?
Look forward to helping us out next weekend. Really appreciate it.
No problem. I'll get a bunch of stuff for you Saturday morning.
Look forward to it.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
And then, as we pointed out, Wednesday night is the 360 Sprint Cars. Austin's going to be up there running that deal. That pays $5,300 to win. $353 to start. Saturday night, after they run Thursday, Friday, Saturday with the Lucas Oil Late Model Series, $53,000 to win on Saturday night for the 12th annual Silver Dollar Nationals.
Kirk, you want to set up this Robert Ballou?
I can.
Yeah.
Robert Ballou he won the USAC Nationals Point, the whole weekend championship up at Houston Speedway last weekend. And Monday, Scott spoke with Robert Ballou on Mostly Motorsports and talked about everything that happened at Houston Speedway over the weekend. And here is a portion of that conversation.
You had a pretty stellar weekend, didn't you, buddy?
I'm gaining on it. Just you gotta crawl before you walk, and walk before you can run.
Well, what did you think of the overall event up there? First of all, let's talk about what Todd Quering did. I think you were a little critical on the first night, and maybe you woke up some people because the crowd was a little bit bigger on Saturday night. But you were pretty vocal about you better get some fans in the stands so Matt Wood will bring this race back, right?
Yeah, obviously he's got sponsors and whatnot, but and he is growing it. But obviously, if there aren't race cars there and there aren't fans there, you just can't keep losing money.
Yeah. Well, do you think it's really because of they don't run enough non-wing races up in that area? You think that's part of the problem?
Yeah, maybe, but I feel like, you go to a lot of places to where, that aren't familiar with, what we do or whatever, and, they just think that the wing cars aren't running tonight, so we're not going.
Yeah.
I know that Matt, I talked with Matt last night, he said that he did advertise, but a lot of the people that I spoke with that are local said that, that there wasn't enough, and most people didn't even know that anything was going on that weekend. Now, granted, they did. I don't want to say they didn't do their job, because I'm sure they spent quite a bit of money to do TV radio or whatever, and I know that there were flyers everywhere, but I'll be honest with you, I don't really look at flyers.
Right.
We're in a new era. Social media is everything, and I guess radio or I guess people still watch TV. I don't really turn the TV on unless I'm going to watch a race or something, because I don't need to be filled full of will. But
right.
Yeah, that was the main thing that I got from the local fans, was that most people don't know, you know, that something's going on, which I find hard to believe, but who knows? There were a lot more fans. That place is huge, but, you know, I feel, not knocking anybody, this is probably not going to come out right, but I feel that that USAC is lacking promotion. I feel that, you know, the All-Stars and the Outlaws are hyping it up and pumping it up, and their crowds show it. Obviously, I have ran both wing and non-wing. I feel that, you know, there's no more exciting racing in the world than non-wing sprint cars.
Yeah.
But you got to have someone, you know, pumping it up every single night and getting it out there. And I feel that, you know, in the last 10 years, that's dropped off, and, you know, most of the USAC fans are walking around with walkers, you know.
Yeah.
They got to get the next generation of the younger generation in there, and otherwise we're all going to be in trouble.
Don't you think that's a little unusual, though, Robert? Because we have so many young drivers that are involved in non-wing sprint car racing, midget racing, and that was such a big event for USAC up there at Huset's. We have so many young kids. Wouldn't you think young kids would follow young kids?
Yeah, heck, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure. You know, the average kid just rolls up with his helmet bag at 6 o'clock, 5:30 for the drivers meeting.
Well, that's true.
You know, from his hotel room, and, you know, has his AirPods in or whatever, and listening to the next, you know, Justin Bieber or something, and don't really care about anything else. Don't let anyone know where they're going, and
right,
and what's happening. And, you know, they're kind of, you know, most of the kids nowadays, you know, most of them have, you know, a lot of money, and, you know, they live in a fantasy world where they don't think about promoting themselves or promoting the series or pumping it up or trying to get people involved. They just, I feel it's just the new way.
They don't do their part. They could get out there on social media and work it a little bit more, but they don't tend to do that as much. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, you know, a lot of, you know, obviously we've got some young girls that are, you know, I guess you would say good looking, and you know, they're posting pictures of sunglasses or in bikinis and stuff, and not a lot about what's really going on with the race car.
Right.
You know, people are obviously paying attention to them, but they aren't pumping up the event because, you know, a lot of them are spending $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year to drive the car, and they live in fantasy land, you know, and you know, we're in the sprint car side of things. Yeah, there's so you got a few, you know, there's more than a few. There's a few good young upcomers, but I still feel that, you know, they're not doing their part either.
Some interesting statements there by Robert Ballou.
Yeah, he is.
He's one of the best in the business.
He is the best. There's no doubt about it. He finished fourth in one race, fifth in another after winning on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Or Friday night, I believe it was, the first night at Huset's. But overall, he wins the championship.
The overall
of the USAC
championship.
Nationals up there. And now they get ready for Indiana Sprint Week, which begins next Friday night at Gas City.
Yeah.
So that's always a hoot, watching the Indiana Sprint Week starting next weekend.
You know, I like how he says that some of these young kids are living in a fantasy world because their daddies pay for everything.
Well, that's true.
Well, again, I've never had a problem with spoiled rich kids. I hung around a lot of them when I was out on the national tour. And they're not all bad kids just because they got a lot of money. In fact, I won't mention the one's name, but one rich kid said to me one time, he looked at another rich kid and he pointed over there and he said, that rich kid gives us rich kids a bad name. They're not all the same.
I don't care if they're rich or poor. I just think these kids ought to be working on these race cars and spending time with the race car. Don't just show up at the track with your helmet bag and jump in and then not be held accountable if you get in a wreck.
Get out and work on the car.
Get out and work on the car. You can you can be a rich guy but still work on the race car.
Right.
So I don't care how much money they got. If you're a young kid, do the work on the car.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
We had a question earlier that why did Wayne Johnson not start the A main last night? He had some terrible back pain. He said once he got into the car and the moment he started to pull his straps down, he realized that he was in trouble.
Oh, boy.
That something in his back isn't right. And that's why they chose not to race. He went out onto the racetrack, tried to make some laps. I think he even did he run his heat race, Austin?
He did run his heat race.
He did run his heat race, but he ran towards the back.
Yeah.
He wasn't very competitive.
Well, that's too bad.
He decided he was going to load up. And this is I don't think you realize how big a blow this is to Wayne Johnson on him trying to win this championship. I'm not saying that he couldn't do it, but if you go back and you look at the points right now, Wayne Johnson, 42 points out of the lead. You can make that up in one night, by the way, just so you know. 42 points out of the lead. Jason Martin has leapfrogged over Wayne Johnson. Now he's 36 points out of the lead. Blake Hahn is the current point leader with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Sprint Car Tour. And then you go back. Here's another big surprise. Garrett Williamson, 43 points out of the lead. Anybody surprised by that? Austin, are you surprised by that?
No.
No.
Not at all.
I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not either.
And Jason Martin, that's another guy we were talking about. He had trouble early in the night, too. He had a wreck.
Yeah, he got upside down, didn't he, last night?
Jason Martin, Kyler Johnson,
and
Blake Hahn,
3.
Brandon Anderson. I mean, he wasn't
Brandon
upside down.
Sander didn't get upside down,
but he still smoked the fence and came across the whole track. So
there was a little bit of driver error involved in that one.
Well, I mean, what do you expect when the track has one lane to run through and it's barely big enough for a car to go through and you're next to the wall? I mean, it's driver error, but I mean, not all 100% Brandon's fault.
Well, let me just say this. If you went high enough down in turn 1, you could miss that hole. And if you went low enough, you could miss that hole. There was a patch about 10 feet wide right in the middle of the racetrack that if you got in that dark stuff, that sticky dark stuff that nobody was getting in, you were going to get in even more trouble. But there was a few guys that were making the top work on both ends. They were just above the rough stuff. And I'm telling you, Garrett Williamson was the one that was doing it the best. That guy was just ripping the lip, and he wasn't going through that rough stuff. But he was going so far around on the outside, it was going to be tough for him to win up there.
Of the 4 guys in the top 5 in points, of the top 5 in points, 4 of them had troubles last night.
Right.
Garrett Williamson was the only guy who, and he slipped off the racetrack. What looked like for a second he was going to go for a ride.
Well,
then he came back and salvaged a 4th place finish out of it.
Did you see where he got his nose wing damage at? I didn't see where that happened. Did anybody see that?
No.
No, I didn't either. It could have been just from the track being so rough.
I believe it.
It could have been.
I thought maybe Landon Crawley was going to be the guy to step up and maybe win a race last night.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was pulling for Landon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to see Landon get his first win.
Live traffic just ruined it for him.
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah. Indecision. Not making the right decisions there. So,
he's going to get better, though.
Yeah.
He'll continue to improve.
Kirk, I did an interview with Ayrton Genitin here, too, as well.
Yeah, and how about a finish Ayrton had on Wednesday night at Eldora Speedway, finished 10th in the A main. at Eldora Speedway, and you spoke with him the next morning on Mostly Motorsports. And here is Scott Traylor with some of that conversation with Ayrton Geniton.
Let me just tell you, you as a driver have excelled a lot in the last year. What do you think the reason is for you as a driver? It seems like the light bulb has really come on for you with the 410 Sprint car. Can you explain that to me a little bit?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it starts kind of even before we started last season. We had the opportunity with Kurt Fisher and Devin Fisher coming on board and bringing Fisher Body Shop, and a lot of help from them has, allowed us to race 410s full time. Without them, we kind of planned on just running a little bit of stuff here and there, and then I was going to run for other people some, and then they approached us, and being able to run, full time in a 410, thanks to them, was what kind of let me get the laps. And then obviously once we were able to hire Chad, it allowed us to race more. With
right.
Chad's work, he's just so busy that we couldn't race the way we needed to or wanted to. And it's not his fault. Like my dad did all he could with, taking us as far as he did. Like, he did a great job. And obviously we were fast with my dad too. And, and then once Chad came, it was like, just everyone got really excited last year, and then we rolled good at the end of the season. And we kind of had just tough times to start, but it's like we've been turning it around, and it's a good thing the Fishers are sticking behind us and helping us out. And, it's like my dad, he's done a lot for my career, and without him, I wouldn't be here at all. So got to thank him, obviously. So he's done a big part. And my crew guy Steve Daniels, he works his butt off, and so does our friend Randy. So we got a good group with my dad, Steve, Randy, and Chad. So.
Yeah. So what do you think Chad brings to the table? Maybe more. And your dad, as you alluded to, he did a great job, right? But what do you think that Chad brings to the table that adds to your program a little bit?
Yeah, like Chad's really knowledgeable with the shock stuff and the motor stuff, and then him having experience on the road is huge. So, obviously my dad, with how busy he is, he can't focus full time on his business plus a race team and try and do everything right. So for me, it was like last year before Chad came, it was really like I was trying to do everything by myself, and we were doing good, but we weren't traveling and racing a lot of different places like we are now with Chad. And I think the organization and the upkeep and just being able to have him who understands more about the motors and the fueling and shock stuff and setup stuff and being on the road helps a lot.
Yeah. With your grandfather and your dad, they were accomplished racers. Do you ever feel any additional pressure by having the Geniton name?
No, not really. Like it's more, it's just really cool to, be able to say I got it than anything. I don't really ever feel any pressure from it, but it's actually kind of funny you mentioned that. Yesterday we were in the infield, and someone came up to me and was like, "Man, I used to race with your grandfather." And it's always cool whenever you can, be at places like this or anywhere else out on the road, and you got people that you never even seen or met before coming up to you talking about them, and it's kind of a unique thing that I cherish, and I'm really grateful for.
It seems to me that you have your grandfather's gene. Does anybody ever come up and say that to you, that you remind them of your grandfather a little bit? Do you ever have people say that to you?
Yeah. I usually, from the people who race with them, they always say I kind of remind them of him. So, especially on the driving side of things. So that's good to hear, because it makes me confident whenever they say that, knowing that I have that capability.
There he is, Ayrton Geniton, and he'll be at it this afternoon at Eldora Speedway. Didn't make the A main on Thursday night.
Good top 10 finish, though, the first night.
But the first night he did very well.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes today for Ayrton.
I would say that if you were going to pick somebody that's probably doing more right now in 410 racing than anybody in this area, Brian Brown is obviously the guy, right? Because he got a podium finish down there at Eldora the other night, right?
Yeah,
right.
A sixth-place finish at the historical Big One.
But I got to think that Ayrton Geniton is the next guy coming up through the pipeline.
Think so.
When you talk about guys that are from this area.
He's got Brian's old crew chief.
Right, yeah.
So that is a big help to him. So, yeah, he's advanced the ball by quite a lot here over the last couple of years. And if he improves the way he has the last couple of seasons over the next couple, 3 seasons,
yeah,
he's going to really be on a high plane.
Right.
No doubt about it. So, yeah, all good for Ayrton Geniton. So we'll be anxious to see how he does this afternoon. Day show at Eldora Speedway.
All right. So have you had a time in your mind to kind of digest this new series that Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet are putting together? The thoughts on it. Let's start with Austin. Austin, you've had a little time to think about it. What do you think? Is it good or bad?
It's good.
It's good.
It's finally bringing, money to 410 racing during the week. It's what we need. I mean, sprint car racing is, like I said, it's in the shadow of late model racing on all the big money and we can't race for nothing anymore. We need to get.
Does it make you want to buy a 410?
I'm just ready to buy a 410. I'm tired of the 360 stuff. You look at all the money being thrown at it right now. It just doesn't make sense to continue to do what I'm doing.
But at the same sense, though, the expense is going to go up when you get a 410.
Well, I mean, the expense goes up a little bit, but
your rebuilds. You got to rebuild those motors more often.
Well, if I go out and buy a Kistler like Wayne Johnson and run 20 races on it, but I mean, look, it's paying $4,000 to start. I mean, yes, that's an outlaw race, but it pays $4,000 to win. There's like six-figure races, and then the base pay on all the races are $5,000 to win, $500 plus to start. So,
right.
I mean, 10th place paid $500 last night. So I mean,
but it's harder to win too if you jump up in.
Harder to win, but I mean, at least you got an opportunity of more and more money at it.
Well,
it's hard to win anything really.
Right. The big question is how much of a chance do you feel it is winning at the 360 level, because it gets tougher at the 410 level. How much are you willing to sacrifice winning in order to make the finances?
I haven't won a 360 race yet, so it doesn't make a difference to me if I go out and run mid-back in a 410 race. I mean,
it would make a difference, Austin.
Guys,
you want to win, though, don't you?
Well, I want to win right now. I mean,
yeah.
But, guys say 410s are easier to drive in our 360s, and some guys excel at it more than they do in the 360s. So, you never know. Let's say I go out and buy one, and it
fits your style better.
It works better for me, and I'm not sitting here year 4 without a win in it.
But it's not easier to win in a 410 than it is 360.
I mean, it's not easy to win anywhere else you go. I mean, look at who we're racing with the national tour.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a stacked field everywhere you go. It's not like a weekly show at your local stock car track where you got 5 good cars. You got 15 good cars, and they're all going to be hard to beat, and they're all spending the same money you are.
Just so you know, that Aaron Reitzel he went and won the All-Star Championship in his rookie year, coming out of the Lucas Oil ASCS National Sprint Car Tour. Right?
But he won a bunch of races racing a 360 before he ever won in 410.
He did. All right, let's go to the phones now, and let's bring on last night's winner up at US 36. Gunnar Ramey joins us on the show. Gunnar, how you doing, buddy? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, doing good. Just headed on to Knoxville.
Hey, all right, bud. That's great. Are you gonna run a 360 tonight, or are you gonna run a 410 tonight?
Oh, we're gonna run the 360 tonight.
Yeah. So about last night, man, that track was a little technical and it was a little rugged last night. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was definitely treacherous. We're used to seeing the hole in turn 1 there. It's pretty much there every time we go, so kind of used to that, but it was a little rougher than normal, and had a little more moisture than normal. So it was fun though. Just had to, kind of be smart so you didn't get yourself in a problem with the holes. But fun and fast as always for sure.
It to me, the last couple 3 years that we've been racing up there, since John Bowler's taken that racetrack over, we haven't seen it rough and rugged like that. It's been pretty smooth and slick and nice, but last night it was pretty non-typical. What did you find yourself having to do to get through that race without getting any carnage to your car?
Well, I knew that the top was probably going to be the fastest way around.
Yep.
If you could manage it, but I also didn't feel like it was manageable for 25 laps. And I felt really good on the bottom, so I just, once I got those guys and then passed Landon for the lead, I knew I was pretty good on the bottom, so I was just going to stay there unless I had to go to the top in 1 and 2 to get around some lappers. And I was glad I was fast on the bottom because, like I said, I didn't feel like the top was manageable for 25 laps.
Yeah. Well, if you hit the middle down in 1, that's where it was treacherous too. You could really get around it on the outside, and you could get below it down in 1. But, man, if you went right through the center, you were going to get in that big old hole down there, weren't you?
Yeah, you definitely didn't want to enter right in the middle. I think in both corners. I believe that's where Blake crashed as well, was in the middle of 3 and 4. So, yeah, you definitely wanted to avoid those 2 spots on the track.
Yeah. Gunnar, you've been running some 410 races here as of late. Is that the kind of the direction you guys are trying to move into?
Yeah, just kind of trying to do a little bit of both. We didn't get a lot of 410 shows, but we're lucky that Terry and Timagina got 2 good 410s for us to run until one expired on us the other week. But, yeah, just trying to kind of do a little bit of both and hopefully get to race more.
It seems like that's where the money's at, and we see what Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet are doing with this new series, and we see all the money that's being thrown at some sprint car racing, and it seems like more of that money is being thrown at the 410s than they are the 360s. What's your thoughts on all that?
I believe so too. I think it's super cool to see like Larson and Sweet start that new series, and then just the kind of money that the Outlaws and All-Stars and stuff like that are racing for, just like this weekend, over $300,000 in winnings at Eldora, so that's pretty cool, and just $100,000 to win at Houston the other weekend. So super cool to see all that coming to sprint car racing. I feel like it's deserved, and seems like more and more over the past few years, the crowds and fans and everything like that just get bigger and bigger, and these races grow a lot.
Yeah. Do you think that you'll do more 410 racing next year than you did this year?
Yeah, I hope so. Probably kind of the same thing, just try to do as much of both as we can. There's not a ton of 360 racing in this area anymore.
Right.
This year is really the first year that we haven't had a lot of 360 racing. It seems like it's been a hot spot for 360 and ASCS racing around here in Missouri, but not this year. So, yeah, just trying to open up and, do a little more racing if we can.
Hey, Gunnar, congratulations. This is Kirk. You get your first sprint car win last night, but the fact that it's a national tour win, how much better did that feel that not only you got your first win, but it's ASCS national tour win?
Yeah, it was super cool. I didn't really think that would be my first win, but at least we got 2 out of them in one night. So, no, it was super cool, and it's a place that I usually always have fun at. The first year we raced sprint cars, it was one of the better places I was. So, it was a fun track, and like last night it was very technical and a little sketchy as well, but just glad to finally get it done. It seems like it's been a long time coming, and I feel like we should have had a couple by now, but I guess this is how it goes sometimes, but just glad we finally got it done.
Did you feel like you had something from Brandon Anderson? He had a pretty good lead there at one point. Did you feel like you had something for him when he was out in front?
Yeah, I feel like we had a really good car, and I could kind of go everywhere I needed to. When I was making laps up there on the top early for a little bit, I felt really good up there. Just like I said, he bobbled multiple times in front of me, and I was bouncing pretty bad there a few times too, and went down and tried the bottom and felt pretty good down there. Like I said, think the top was probably the fastest way around. Just didn't seem manageable for that long. I think I think I could have got up there and ran with them, and hopefully, but you never know. But it worked out all in all, and just glad we finally got it done.
Hey, Corey Day made that big charge up from the back. Talk about the last couple laps. Do you see him coming?
He put that pressure on you there those last 2 laps, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I didn't see him, but as long as it took me to get around that one lap car, I knew someone had to be coming. And I was in panic mode a little bit. I knew I had to get around that lap car, but I wish I would have done it 2 laps sooner. But I didn't know that he was that close. But Corey's super good, and even to charge from the back like that, I knew someone had to be coming.
You're heading to Knoxville tonight. Looks like you've been running pretty strong up there. Just kind of talk about how you've been running at Knoxville.
Yeah, we've been up to Knoxville a few times this year. It's been good and bad. It seems like we can't get everything to fire together and put a whole night together. Either we qualify decent, but we don't do as well in the feature, or kind of vice versa. But we were better last week than we had been all year, so I think we're heading in the right direction. Just really tough place to race at, and all the people that race there are super good and been racing there for a long time. So
yeah,
it's definitely tough and humbling, but just got to keep clicking away and get laps down and try to keep getting better.
Do you ever go to any? I know that Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps has a great relationship with Brian Brown. Do you ever pick his brain a little bit about what you need to do up there as a driver?
Yeah, absolutely. Brian's been a lot of help, car and driver wise, for us. Just he's got so many laps.
Might have lost him.
Might have lost him there.
He's on his way to Knoxville right now, so might have been a bad sell. But hey, man, what a night he had!
Right,
big celebration.
Yeah,
that first win's coming for Austin too, pretty soon too.
So. He'll get his.
He'll get his.
Yeah, for sure.
So
no doubt about it.
Anyway, we appreciate Gunnar coming on with us. Maybe we might be able to hook up with him.
We'll just drop him and tell him thanks, Todd. Just thanks for coming on.
It's all good.
Appreciate it.
So,
all right.
Great night for him.
Do we got a couple minutes here to talk about Kyle Larson's statement about the Chili Bowl? Should we talk about that a little bit more?
We talked about that yesterday. You want to talk about it again?
Well, not everybody listens to the podcast every day, Kurt.
Well,
huh?
No, I'm disappointed in Kyle for bringing this whole subject up. About how much the purse is for the Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
And
we can finish it up with him if we want. Yeah.
I mean, he pretty much put out a threat like, I'm not going to race there next year, and some others aren't. We'll get into that here in just a little bit.
Okay. All right, we'll bring Gunnar back on. Gunnar, I'm sorry about that drop right there, but, man, congratulations on picking up that Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour win. It was no easy feat last night, as we talked about with the track conditions and everything that was going on up there. That's got to be a really thrilling victory, and I know to pick up that first one with the National Tour means probably a little bit more.
Yeah, super cool, especially, being not too far from home. And
right.
Like I said, I didn't know that my first one would be a National Tour win, but glad to get 2 out of the way at once. But, yeah, just super, super good night. Finally, sweet. We put the whole night together and it worked out. The qualifying heat race is so important to get yourself a good starting position in the A, and we did both of those to get the start up front. So, that makes it a lot easier when you don't have to come from deep. So,
right.
Glad we got good cars, and Lee built us great motors. And I think that showed tonight. Broke the track record, or last night broke the track record, and FK Shocks and Maxim Chassis, they all were working really good, and it's worked out in our favor.
Yeah, and you've got such a great sponsor with David and Julie Goodson over there at Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps. They've been great supporters of yours, right?
Yeah, they absolutely have. David and Julie have been with me from the start. They were my first ever sponsor when I started racing four-wheelers back a long time ago. So cool to still have them on board with us this many years later and keep helping us. And yeah, it takes absolutely everyone and on the car, and including friends and family and things like that to make it all happen. But yeah, just lucky to be driving for Terry. He builds awesome cars and makes them go around the track really well. So glad to be driving for Terry, and we got good cars and a lot of good supporters behind us with MPAC and G&T Farms, and A. Mason Materials, Starline Brass, Retrieve Freedom, Next LED, BPM, TR Welding, Ostrich, like I said, Z builds us great motors.
Yeah.
Higginsville Brick and Tile, just everyone on board that makes it possible. It takes all of them and everything to go right to get one of those wins. So just glad it worked out in our favor, and we got it done finally.
Yeah. Well, Gunnar, thanks for being on the show. We appreciate you taking the time to do so. Good luck to you up there at Knoxville tonight. We'll be pulling for you, all right?
Thank you guys very much.
All right.
Thank you.
There you have it. Gunnar Ramey joining us here on Track Talk.
Always exciting to see first-time winners. Love it.
You never get tired of seeing a first-time winner.
I hope I'm there when Austin gets his first win.
You're putting a lot of pressure on the kid over there.
No, I just hope I'm there when that happens.
I know it, but you keep saying it over and over and over and over and over again.
It's coming. It's coming. We just don't know when. It's coming, though.
Oh, for sure. He'll get his. Yeah.
Now, you brought up Kyle Larson with the Chili Bowl. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and he spoke with somebody from Race America. That used to be the Speed 51 site.
I think Michael Rigsby did that interview.
No, that's not Michael Rigsby's deal. That was the old Bob Dillner site that he sold. Bob Dillner sold that to somebody. They cover a lot of...
He sold it to NASCAR, Kirk.
He sold it to NASCAR?
Yes.
Yeah. But Michael Rigsby doesn't have anything to do with that.
Well,
not that site. Where that story was published.
I don't know if you've noticed on the Flow programming sheet, a lot of NASCAR Weekly Racing Series races, they have a relationship with NASCAR now. Flow does.
Yeah, right.
So I think Flow was involved in that.
Okay. But whoever wrote the story, I'm not sure who the story was. You sent me a link to it the other day. It got my dander up a little bit because Kyle had made mention that he may not run the Chili Bowl next year because they don't pay enough. And some others may not be there too. Well, to me, that's a threat, and I don't like that, especially coming from the defending Cup Series champion who makes a lot of money himself to be crying about the Chili Bowl. Here's a guy that called that his biggest win of his career a couple of years ago. Now talking about might not become because it doesn't pay enough money, and some others might not be there too. That rubs me the wrong way. That disappoints me because I'm a Kyle Larson fan, and I just hate seeing that. And they did call and get a response from Emmett, which I like that.
He's not going to be backed in the corner.
And Emmett responded, which I thought he would, I'm not going to be backed into a corner, and that nobody bothered to call me and talk about it. I'm easy to get a hold of.
Right.
If you want to discuss this, let's talk about it.
Right.
But don't go to the media and then back me into a corner.
Right.
And I'm with Emmett on that. And it bothers me that, here's an event, the Chili Bowl was big not because of the money they put out. And you see a lot of these big money events, and Kyle and Brad's new series, it is about the money. That's why it's big. They're putting money out. All the big events you see at Eldora Speedway are big because of the money they put out. Well, the Chili Bowl got big not because of the purse money they put out. It was a big event because of the event and where it was at, and the star of the show is the event itself, and it got big not because of the purse money.
I like Kyle Larson, but I don't like his attitude towards Emmett on that.
I just don't like the way he went about it.
I don't. He should have called Emmett.
Yeah.
Him and Flo should have got together.
Talk about it.
And work it out and try to get Flo divvy up some of their
I'm
money.
I'm not opposed to bumping up the purse money if that's possible to do. But
I got a little update here, Kirk. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Lincoln Speedway. Lincoln has just informed by Hoosier that they only have 24 tires will be available at the track for tomorrow's Dean Auto Plaza night event.
24
Due to the limit number of tires available, the track has made the difficult decision to make tomorrow night's race a 410 sprint only show, canceling the 358 sprint and super sportsman divisions. The 410s will race a 35 lap for $5,000 to win, an increase of $500 to start. So they're dropping the 358s and the super sportsmans because they don't have enough tires.
yeah, and it doesn't seem like this problem is going to get rectified
I want to thank
quickly.
I think Marie sent me that story. I want to make sure that I give her credit for that. She did. Marie sent me that story. So
This tire issue is not going to go away anytime
it's
soon.
not.
So.
What do you think of that story there, Austin? Not surprised?
No, not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to I-80 last week and we had no drag rear tires at all, and had
They didn't
a
have
slim,
any up there.
Nope, had a slim picking last night. So,
and last night they're $350.
Yep, and they'll probably last. Well, hopefully these last a long time, but I mean,
yeah, that's the thing. The cost of these tires
only lasting one night.
Matt Weaver did the Racing America article on Larson and
Matt
Chili
Weaver.
Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what Pete
And
said.
I thought the guy did a good job of writing the article because he got both sides. He got the response from Emmett, and, he put it out there. I've got nothing against Matt Weaver for writing the article.
I have nothing against anybody.
No.
In fact, we should try to get Matt Weaver on.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, and I do appreciate the fact that he went and got comments from Emmett about it to get both sides to it. That's what journalism should be, by the way.
My biggest deal is that just people just don't realize the expense of putting on that event.
Oh, it's enormous.
I think people think that Emmett lives in some big giant mansion up on a big hill or something.
No.
Let me tell you something about Emmett. Emmett's lived in the same house for the last 40 years, whatever it is. And it's not in a really, how do I put this delicate? He doesn't live in a high society area. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And he doesn't own the building that this event is held in. And the rent goes up. He doesn't get the concessions, the expense of putting in the track,
the staff,
all of that. I don't think a lot of people realize the total expense that it takes to put this event on every year.
Also, too, I think we're also forgetting, we're just not talking about the Chili Bowl. The shootout also makes the money, too.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So, I'm not sure what that brings, and I know that the pay isn't as great as the midget races.
They don't make near the money that you think they do off of the shootout.
I mean, I can't remember what the entry fee is, but when there's 1,100, how many cars they had last year? It was close to 1,500 cars or entries last year, right? I mean, entry fee is not cheap down there. I'm not saying they're pocketing on that money, but I mean, they're still
the cost of the cleaning and restriping the pits and redoing everything. People just don't understand the cost of what it takes to put on that event.
And not just the cost of it, but just the total effort that it takes and the work that it takes to put that event on every year. Whatever money that the Hahn family and the Edwards family make on it, they deserve it. And as far as I'm concerned,
I'm with you.
Because of what it takes to put this event on.
I had a guy send me a message last night, Blake, and he said, "Have we ever heard Tony Stewart complain about how much it pays to win at the Chili Bowl?"
No.
He goes down there and he puts all this extra work in to make sure the track surface is good. Have we ever heard Tony Stewart complain about the amount of money it pays to win?
I never heard him say, hey, they need to bump up the pay.
He would never call out Emmett Hahn.
We went a lot of years. We didn't even know what the purse money was. If somebody had asked me how much they pay to win the Chili Bowl, I don't know. For a lot of years, I didn't know what the purse money was. Nobody talked about it.
Listen,
Nobody cared.
like I've said, what they need to do is get somebody from corporate America to come in, sign a 10-year deal with them, and increase the purse so it doesn't have to come out of Emmett's pocket. Find somebody to go out and find the money. Go to Aspire Sports and Entertainment. Go to somebody like that. Say, find me some sponsors. Bring them over to the Chili Bowl so I can increase the purse, sign a 10-year deal with that whoever that person is to increase the purse, and that at the end of that 10 years, if they don't find another sponsor to come back in and continue that relationship, then it goes back to $10,000.
Well, and that's,
but here's the problem with that. Going backwards.
Yeah.
See, if you pay that extra money for 10 years,
yeah,
and then you try to go back to $10,000, that's a step backwards, and I don't think that's going to work.
And the point I made yesterday is, and that's fine if they want to do that, whatever. But the point I tried to make yesterday,
they need more corporate money involved in the Chili Bowl.
No, here's the point I tried to make yesterday, is that the purse money they put out for this event is as big, if not bigger, than any in all of midget racing. They put out a pretty fair purse, but
how many races pay more than $10,000 in midget racing?
Right.
Austin, do you know that off the top of your head?
I'll look.
All right, look it up.
But the fact of the matter is, they don't really need to they haven't had the need to raise the purse because they've got more cars that they can handle in a full week.
Right.
You talk about 300 entries.
Right.
They pack these cars. They have to work hard to get them all inside the building. And then you've got enough cars to race a full program.
How about
6
the staff?
nights
How
for
about
the
the
full
staff?
5. You got 5 nights leading up to the actually 6 nights total, 5 nights leading up of different cars running different nights. They've got more cars than they can handle. Why in the world would you even think about raising the purse?
Well, first of all, go race your late model, Kyle Larson. We won't miss you.
Well, that's fine.
Hold on. We're not going to miss him. A few of the fans might miss him. But I'm telling you right now, the Chili Bowl's been going on longer than Kyle Larson has been alive.
And it was a big event back then. So the Chili Bowl has been a big event since its beginning, really.
Right.
I mean, I've been going there. My first Chili Bowl was 1992. Guess what? The stands were packed then.
Right.
I mean, they didn't have as many cars as they do now. The car count is bigger than it's ever been. But the star of this show is the event itself, not any one driver. And if Kyle Larson wants to go run late models or do whatever he wants that week, God bless him. He's got that choice to make that.
Steph says, try to get some corporate sponsors, like Scott says. It's not about bringing in more cars. It's about increasing the purse. I get that. But that's where corporate involvement needs to get more involved. You're going to, in order to increase the purse, Emmett can't take it out of his pocket.
Well, there are these people probably saying he could, but why should he work hard to increase the purse when there's no need to, because he's got all of the entries that he can handle the way it is?
Go out and find a Coca-Cola. Go out and find a big corporation that wants to be involved with the Chili Bowl. All you got to do is hire somebody like Spire Sports and Entertainment. Say, listen, we need a title sponsor so we can increase the purse of the Chili Bowl. And tell Spire Sports and Entertainment, TJ and Jeff Dickerson over there, you tell those guys we want a 10-year deal with them. They got to sign up for 10 years. And go about it that way. Don't go about it trying to get in Emmett's pocket.
And you're asking, why don't Kyle Larson go do that? Go.
No, I didn't say anything about Kyle Larson. I said, hire you a company like Spire Sports and Entertainment to do the work for you. People that do it for a living,
right?
Like Spire Sports and Entertainment does. That's what they do for a living.
Yeah.
They go out and they attract sponsors for teams, drivers, events, hockey games. You know, they own a couple hockey teams. Listen, they know how to do it. Get those guys to go out and find the dollars for you to bring it to the race.
Okay,
all.
that's fine, but I don't think it's necessary to keep the event going and make that and continue to make that a big event. I think that's fine if you go do that, but I don't think it's necessary to do that. The event is going to continue to be big no matter what the purse money is.
I totally agree with you on that.
And to be honest with you, I've never thought about what it pays to win when I've gone to the Chili Bowl.
Kurt,
never thought it once about it.
Kurt, you're not a participant.
No, I'm a fan.
So you wouldn't think about what it pays to win because you're not the one shelling out the bucks to go there and race.
But these guys continue to show up, don't they?
They do. But that doesn't mean that they can't find some corporate money to increase the purse.
Well, that if they want to do that, I think that's fine.
Our friend Martin Edwards, he just chimed in. He says, we haven't had any sprint car tires in this area for months.
Wow.
Down there around Devil's Bowl, Mesquite.
It's been awful.
Yeah.
So Huset's and Hangtown paid $20,000 to win. Turkey Night pays $15,000, and Turkey Night pays $10,000.
So how many races pay over $10,000? Just give me that.
3 it looks like from what I've just been able to find off.
So it's right in line with some of the biggest paying races, isn't it?
For midget racing, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most high payingest midget race there is that you found?
It's $20,000 to win.
$20,000 to win.
Well, 100-lap feature too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Pete says Hormel Chili Bowl. That's Hormel Chili Bowl. That's what you know. You go out and find you somebody that's in the chili bowl, the chili business, and tie it together. That's how you do it. Wouldn't that be the way to do it?
Well,
or get you sriracha. I like putting a little sriracha on my
If Kyle
chili.
Larson doesn't attend another chili bowl, guess what?
What?
That event's going to keep right on trucking.
No.
Whether he's there or not.
I'm totally with you.
Same with Christopher Bell or any other.
Yeah. What you got, Todd?
I'm just going to say, you find you
a seasoning sponsor for
seasoning.
chili
That's
or
exactly
something.
what I was getting ready to say. Williams Seasoning or one of those guys, and get you your chili bowl, and they hand out a little package of chili
Right.
seasonings with your ticket,
Yeah.
and it just makes sense right there. Sell chili bowl hats. with
You know, the
chili
way I
in it.
look at it,
Right.
if Kyle Larson doesn't want to show up,
Chili, a bowl with some chili on top
so you
of
eat it, and then you can wear it as a hat after you're done. I'm a marketing genius.
I don't think you'd want to do that. I think you just want to make a plastic hat with some chili that's in it.
There you go.
It just looks like chili on your head.
Like
That's it.
Rico's
You're
hair.
just
We have
walking
a chili
around
head.
with a
Chili bowl
bowl
head.
with some chili on your head.
Because every time we've ever been somewhere, nobody has any idea what the chili bowl is. They're like,
It's like being a cheesehead.
they're like, what's a chili bowl? Is it you guys are? Is it a chili contest? They think it's a
Right.
barbecue contest for chili. So,
Right, yeah.
Well, it
I've
was
been
the
sent- It was
sponsor back
Originally,
then.
it was.
Originally
It was the title sponsor because it was a chili company.
That's right.
But the way I look at it, if Kyle Larson doesn't want to come to the Chili Bowl next year, that opens it up. More new stars will be created. New names will come up, and new stars
How
will
many
be
fans
created.
won't show up because Kyle Larson's
Place
there?
is going to be packed.
Maybe a few, but
It'll be sold
It'll
out.
still be sold
It'll
out.
be
It'll
sold
be
out
sold
just
out.
like it has been before Kyle Larson started racing there.
and whoever wants to give up their seat at the Chili Bowl will be quickly filled by those who bought standing room only tickets. in the past.
There
They'll
is a
snap them up in
long, there's a long
Huge list.
list
Yeah.
of people
Waiting.
that are waiting in line to get some seats at the Chili Bowl. And if you give up your seats at the Chili Bowl
Gone.
because Kyle
Somebody else
Larson's not
will
going to
fill
be
it.
there, those tickets will be sold immediately.
Absolutely.
They're not worried about that.
They're not worried about selling out.
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
That board up on top, it has all the race winners' names. It'll just keep changing, and everything will do just fine. like I
Everything will
say.
be just fine. There's not going to be a problem. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to Track Talk. We did it all again this Saturday morning. We've been doing it for 22 years, Kirk and I, at Sports Radio 810 WHB, as well as RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. We'll do it all over again next week, every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock Central Time. Don't forget, Mostly Motorsports, Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Time. Austin O'Neill and myself. Kirk Elliott sits with us on Fridays. That's Phone Fridays. On every Friday we do that. We take phone calls from people out there all around the country. And we want to thank you for tuning in to today's show as well. For Austin O'Neill, for Todd Surprise, for Blake back at Sports Radio 810 WHB, and my partner Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us here on Track Talk. It's all been brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works.
Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.